the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 193, and we are with my friend Steve Houk, the owner of Boise Mattress, one of the founders of the Mattress Industry Network group, and a rep for 3Zs, among other things, the father of 8 and a veteran. So say thank you to Steve when you see him for his service. Hey, let's pay the bills really, really quick, and then we're going to get to it because it's the fourth quarter, baby. Sell $1 million, 101 tips for furniture and mattress store owners to sell another $1 million or more this year. If you haven't bought the book, what are you waiting for? It's like $15, just under $15 with free shipping if you're a Prime member. So jump on that. Call me at 419-560-3169. I'll help you implement anything in the book absolutely for free. And let me say thank you to the Mattress Industry Network group for sponsoring the Pete Primeau Show. We appreciate you, Steve and Greg. And if you are in the mattress industry and you are not in this group, what are you waiting for? We're here to help you build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry. Sometimes you feel like you're all alone as a store owner. You don't have to be alone. You have well over 2,000, I think, more like 20, almost 2,700. And Steve will correct me in a second, because one thing we know about Steve, he ain't bashful. And I'd like to say thank you to my friends at the Bed and Industries Network group for sponsoring this show as well. If you are going to High Point Market, do not miss BIA. They're in the Crown Mark building all the way up on the 4th floor. And that is something you do not want to miss. There will be new introductions in High Point, really exciting things, brands upon brands upon brands. And if you want your own private label and you do enough volume, we can probably accommodate you. We are the largest producer of private label goods in the country. And a lot of people don't know that about Bed and Industries of America. So come see us at High Point. My friend Steve Carnes will be there. And just ask for him. He'll be walking around and probably be the guy that says hi to you anyway. So let's get rocking and rolling. Steve, yeah, Boise State. So I don't even know who this team is. This team, it's a semi-pro team. I said to Jenny, I got to have a football jersey because Houk told me I have to have one for my show. So yeah, you know what? I love that blue field guy. I always pull for you guys. The only way I wouldn't pull for you if you were playing Ohio State. That wouldn't happen. But let's see who's in the house. Is that you, RJ? Jacksonville Bedding, Mattresses, and More. I bet you that's RJ. If anybody is watching and can't afford a copy, I'll buy it for you. Truly will help you change your business. That's very sweet of you, RJ. And look, even Steve's got a copy, and he's one of the smartest guys in our business. He's always looking for ideas.
I don't know about the smartest.
You're pretty darn smart. You're a grinder. I will give you that.
We do okay.
Well, I've heard a lot of really good things about you. Hey, Tara, happy Friday to you too. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Hey, Anthony, glad you're here. So I got to tell you something, Steve. When I asked you what's near and dear to your heart, and you said, let's do the fourth quarter, and we kind of batted that ball around. And so I had this vision in my head when in college. As soon as
you don't remember anything from college.
Oh, Pete. I remember almost everything. I don't remember yesterday.
I don't remember anything from college.
So at the end of the third quarter, it was our job, if we weren't starters, to start rounding everybody up, because we were the BW Yellow Jackets. And our philosophy on football was, when we get you into the fourth quarter, it's a whole new ball game. It's a whole new ball game. We don't care if we're winning. We don't care if we're losing. We are going to outplay you every down in the fourth quarter. So we would do this.
Every team, right? Hold up 4.
And we were screaming it at the top of our lungs. And it was a rallying cry. And so, my friends, this is our rallying cry to you. It's the fourth quarter.
So
Steve,
good news and bad news, Pete, is the good news is it's October 4th. The bad news is fourth quarter started October 1st.
Yeah.
So if you have not begun to plan your fourth quarter, you are 4 days behind. So join us in getting the fourth quarter right. So Pete, I was thinking about something on this morning, which is, I mean, I got on the show a little late, but you got on later than me. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I was really thinking about something this morning, and I got to thinking, what happens before the fourth quarter, Pete? I mean, other than holding up 4. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna rewind even farther.
3 quarters have already been played, my friend.
So 3 quarters have been played, but how many practice hours have you put in?
Ooh, thousands
of practice hours.
Thousands.
So
game film, practice,
we've
weightlifting, running in the off season, you name it.
We've put in hundreds of hours to play. Well, in high school, I was at my son's homecoming game last night. Thank God we won. We needed one.
Awesome.
Right,
congrats.
12-minute quarters, right? 12-minute quarters. So for every quarter they played last night, 48. I bet they put in that many hours of practice this week, right? I mean, they're practicing 4 hours, not 48 hours. So they're practicing 4 hours a day between film and grinding. So what are they practicing, Pete?
They're practicing their plays.
The fundamentals, right? It always comes back to the fundamentals, right?
You mean blocking and tackling?
It's blocking and tackling, right? You're in the trenches. You're in the trenches, right? If you can't execute your plays, you can't win a game. So I have to give a nod to my new favorite book, thanks to Royal referring me to it. It's The Perfect Pass. You remember Coach Leach?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a book about how, the evolution of the forward pass. And it's a great book. And they would talk about breaking it down simply, right? They wanted the simplest passing offense possible. So the quarterback just knew where the wide receivers were. The wide receiver knew where the quarterback was going to be. So that's the fundamentals, the practice hours that you have to put in to execute, go all year, right? So practice those fundamentals. What are they? What are the fundamentals of the mattress industry? Help me out, Pete. You're a genius.
Well, the very first one and the most important one. Oh, yeah. Al Pacino, every inch, fight for every inch. Yeah, I love that. Michael, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. So the fundamentals are very, very, very simple. Starts off with marketing and most specifically, the piece that directly gets customers in, advertising. Nothing happens until somebody walks into that store. The next piece, very simple. Your display. They see your display. And some people like to put merchandising in front of display. You can do it either way.
You can include it, right? I mean, to me, it's all part of your merchandising plan, right? When you walk into your store, it's all how you merchandise your store.
However you want to do it. Then you've got your sales training piece. Then you've got your service piece, how you execute your deliveries, how you handle your service. If you do all those things right, God willing, you'll get 5-star online reviews, you'll get referrals, and you'll get testimonials. That's the business.
That's the business. So break those cores down, right? I mean, it's pretty simple. Practice the fundamentals. So that's what we do on a daily basis, whether it's the fourth quarter or third quarter. But it's never too late to really break down those fundamentals, right? What happens on Mondays, Pete? You've been in that film room. What are you doing on Mondays?
Well,
I mean, normally the coach is already settled.
So you gotta remember, my last play was 1982.
So you guys still had the reels. Were you guys doing reels?
Oh,
or
yeah.
You actually have VHS back then?
No, there was no VHS, dude.
All right.
It was all film. It was legit film. I was 71 by the way. And that's Wittenberg, our arch nemesis, who we beat this year, by the way. You're watching film as soon as it's broken down. That was very interesting.
So normally when I played, fast forward to VHS. Now they got this thing called Huddle. They just jump on, right? The game's just made, all the game film is broke down for them. It's just on their freaking phones now. My kids watching the opponents, but normally, even before Monday, right, the coach has created the game plan.
Yep.
For the game on Friday or Saturday, right? So when you hit the locker room on Monday, normally it's a light day, but you were breaking down game film and you're going over your game plan, right? Yep. And that's kind of where we're at, right? Right now, we're in the game plan phase of the fourth quarter with Pete Primeau. Right. So we are trying to figure out what we're going to do for October, November, and December. And we're really glad that October really gives us an opportunity to prepare for November, December, but more importantly, it gives us a chance to really reflect and move forward into the new year. Right. So we're in that game planning phase. So what happens after the game plan and all the practice, and we've got to Friday night, Pete. We're just trying to get to the fourth quarter, right? But we got to start with one thing. What are we doing here?
Besides practice and the game films and everything?
I know. I should have gave you my outline because I didn't want to stump you.
I love doing this. I love it off the cuff, brother. This is the way to do it. What you got? Tell me what you got.
Kickoff, right?
Yeah, got to kick off.
You got to kick off to get the game rolling. You got to kick off. What's the famous Mike Tyson phrase? Everybody knows.
Everyone's got a game plan until they get punched in the face.
You get punched in the face, right? and that's ultimately the truth in business, right?
Yeah.
Your day can go all according to plan. Heck, I have days. I'm sitting in here. Actually, this Wednesday, right? And we've been doing our business has been doing really, really well. And I just kind of need a breather. And I won't lie. I'm in here on my own on Wednesday, and I'm just praying a customer doesn't come in. I don't want to be interrupted. Right?
You know what's going to happen.
I don't have it. Like, I just don't want to sell. Like, I didn't want to see anybody on Wednesday. I got so much work to do. I got to get caught up, and I can't do it. Like, the one limitation in my life is time. So I was like, oh man, I don't want to see anybody today. I'm trying to execute, right? I'm trying to, I've got my game. I'm trying to put it together. I'm trying to get my ads out, my website updated. I'm trying to win this fourth quarter, October. I mean, we're fortunate. We're a TSI dealer, and we're, Avocado and all these companies are rolling out their sales for the first part of the fourth quarter. Right. And I got to get all my website updated, and I get interrupted. I get a customer. I got punched in the face, and now I got to adapt my game plan. Well, you know what I got done on Wednesday?
What?
Nothing. I ended up with customers and making money. And I know that sounds like something you don't want to complain about, but sometimes.
You know how many dudes and dudettes right now are hating on you? Like, you're complaining you were busy making money yesterday?
I'm complaining I made money. And mostly because I know sometimes I'll take that. I mean, I'll take money anytime, the difficulty is if you don't put your plan into place, right? If you
The
don't
money
put
dries
that
up.
plan into place, I lost my camera here. Did you lose me?
No, I can hear you.
All right. I don't know what happened here.
No, we can hear you just fine.
Just can't see me. Can you see me?
No, I can't see you right now, brother, but I can hear you.
There
There
we
you
go.
go. Perfect.
Oh, of course, now you got to see my messy background.
That's okay. That's all good.
Oh, we're going back to Boise State. Didn't come up. Dang it. You can see. So my office is my computer is driving me crazy.
The joys of going live, Steve, but we can hear you. So that it's all good, brother.
Oh.
All right. So we're kicking off. We're trying to execute. You're getting interrupted yesterday. You want to put your
Got interrupted on
in.
Wednesday. This whole thing. Here, we're going to go. There we go.
There you
We
go.
back.
We back.
So didn't get my plan in place, and that really sucks. And I'm hoping today my employees will be. So in the store I work the store on Wednesday, Thursdays by myself, because they're typically the slower days, and it gives me a chance to get caught up. So today, hopefully, I get to put my plan in place, get my ads out. But what else happens during a game, right? So after the kickoff, what's next, Petey?
You start running your plays. They're running their plays, and we're finding out who's executing better.
So you get in the huddle, right? You get in the huddle, and you give your team the plan, right? That's the important part, because the coach knows the game plan, but who's calling the plays?
Steve, right? I love where you're going with this.
You got to give the team the plan, right? So, and this is, I think, a fundamental that we kind of all forget, right? I mean, making sure that one, your employees know what financing deals you've got running, what ads you've got running, right? You don't want your RSA to be surprised. And customers do a good job of making us feel stupid as it is, right? Or they try to. So you want to make sure your team knows the play. And then
can I say something?
You go for it.
The best quarterbacks.
You can say whatever you want.
The best quarterbacks in the huddle command the attention of the team, and they're clear cut, and they ask for feedback. And if they have a problem child on that team in that huddle, they'll say, "You know your route, right?" Yep. And I've heard discussions about the route before, and it's like, that's what a really good quarterback does. He makes sure his team's got the play and they're going to execute it properly, asking for feedback. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I love this, what you're doing.
I mean, a good quarterback knows what everybody on the field is going to be doing, right?
100%. Even the defense, the really good ones.
And then when they get up to the line, right, their job is to figure out what the defense is going to do. So they got about 5 seconds to figure out exactly. Oh man, my office looks like a mess. This is how you know I'm busy, right? So in the background behind me, I have freaking vinyl printers. I have everything in my office. So there is not a piece of equipment or something I haven't bought to make my life easier and more complicated at the same time. So I'm a collector of things, as we call it my kids would call it in the football world. I have drip. I have lots of drip. So welcome to the world of drip. So once we've got to the line, right, we've got the play, and now we have to execute. Execution is all the fundamentals we've worked on, all the hours we've put in. We've got 48 minutes. If you're high school, I think that's high school's 12-minute quarters. I think 15 in college and 15 in the pros.
Yep.
So we're just going to pretend we're not pros, right? We're amateurs here. So we're going to go with 12-minute quarters. So we've got 12 minutes to execute our game plan, and then we get a breather, right? And if we're lucky, we make it all the way to the fourth quarter, which some of us, as you've seen in the news, right? Some of us didn't survive the first 3 quarters this year.
Yep.
There's a lot of people didn't make it through the first 3 quarters.
Yep.
So they're sitting on the bench. They're with the freaking trainers right now, getting taped up, and maybe they're in the tent. They already went back to the locker room. Like, the game of business is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've survived, just you got to the fourth quarter for even, you've been in this industry 20 years and you made it to the fourth quarter of 2024, pat yourself on the back, because it is not easy out there. Some of us are really fortunate, and then, it is not really easy. So I do commend anybody that's stuck it out this long. So if we execute, what happens, Petey?
If you execute, you have a successful play.
So if you execute, you score, right? That's the ultimate goal, right? We get to the end zone. So what do we do when we get to the end zone, Pete?
Oh, you got to do a dance.
Hang on, we'll see how good Chris is. Where's the music, Chris?
You know what?
You might caught him sleeping.
You might. Oh. No, you can't catch Chris Stone sleeping.
Fourth quarter grind, stores lit, no sweat. Game time hustle, no miss sale yet. Deals on the floor, firm, plush and right. Stacking up wins, every bet needs a home tonight. Game plan tight, we're sealing the deal. Luxury dreams, making sales feel real. AI. Defense strong, competitors behind. Prime time hustle, our profits aligned. Snap count, cash flow coming in hot, no fumble here. Every sale hits the spot, customers lined and check out with a grin. End of the rush, we score big again. Game plan tight, we're sealing the deal. Luxury dreams, making sales feel real. Defense strong, competitors behind. Prime time hustle, our profits aligned. Snap count, cash flow coming in hot, no fumble here. Every sale hits the spot, customers line and check.
If we execute, we score, and we get to celebrate, right? So what does celebrating mean for your team?
Marnie's get it, Steve. Thank you, Marnie.
I don't lose dance-offs in my house, Marnie.
Jennifer, I need that song. All right. These is Daft gonna be a gif. RJ.
I'm just waiting for my own bobblehead, RJ. You send me a bobblehead.
Hey, John, I wouldn't have been in the Hall of Fame without you, brother, so thank you.
All right, so when we score, we celebrate. What does that mean for your team, right? So it's an opportunity to pat yourselves on the back. It's also, we got to recognize that the game ain't over, right? We've scored, we've made a sale, we've celebrated, you got your commission, you got your spiff, and now you go back to the sidelines and you ain't special, right? I always tell my kids, we don't celebrate. All the years I've coached, I had my junior in high school one time, and he keeps telling me he's going to do it again. I remember the first touchdown he scored, he was like 10 years old, right? So that's the one right behind me in the white shirt. He's actually taller than me, and thank goodness that picture makes me look so big. Everybody else so small. No, he spikes the ball, right? He spikes it. You ain't allowed to spike it, right? Like, he spikes it like Gronk. He full on 15-yard penalty. It was quite the celebration. So he swears he's going to spike it again. So he didn't score last night, thank goodness. He ran it down to the 12, and they let somebody else run the ball. So it's like, he didn't score, he ain't spiking the ball, but he probably will, because he's that kind of kid. He's as passionate as I am. So After we score, we hit halftime, right? What do you do at halftime, Pete?
Regroup, analyze what we did right, analyze what we did wrong, make adjustments.
We're making adjustments, right? Halftime is the opportunity. You've seen what the defense is going to throw at you. You've seen what their offense is going to throw at you. Now you counter, right? This is where the great coaches come out and that's where they win, right? And the adjustments that they make at halftime.
Yeah.
So what do? We get in a play. This goes along with halftime, but we come out and we're in the middle of a play and we don't see what we like. What do we do, Pete?
Oh, I love audibles. Audible.
We audible, right? You got to get yourself out of a bad play.
Hey, let's just do a quick timeout. If you don't know what an audible is switching the play with a code word or a code number, sometimes a color. Different teams do it different ways, but it's changing the play at the line of scrimmage just prior to the snap. So it is, it requires a lot and you can have them on offense and defense. So whoever's the captain of the defense and running that, or the quarterback who's going to be running the offense. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve.
Nope. So we get to the line and we don't like what we see.
Andy Reid.
Yeah. We have to make an audible. And some of the greatest, right? I mean, the GOAT, Tom Brady. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a Pats hater. I'm a Bills fan, but I mean, Tom Brady is probably the greatest quarterback to ever live in, modern era football, but we won't talk about the concussion era of football. You know, a lot of people forgot the concussion era of football.
Let's do a little deep dive on Brady. Like, not the most talented, God-given ability.
Sixth round pick, right? Sixth round pick. Backup quarterback in college most of the time. The only person that believed in Tom Brady was Tom Brady, and then
his mom and dad probably.
Two people believed in him, right? His dad really believed in him. His dad pushed him.
Yeah, yeah. And so the thing that everybody needs to understand, Tom Brady is probably the greatest quarterback of all time. And no matter what, even if you just are a complete Pats hater and you hate him just because, you still have to admit he has to be in the discussion. He has to be in the discussion. There's no way he's not in the discussion. So
I'm a diehard Bills fan, and I hate the Pats, right? I hate the Pats, but I cannot hate what they were able to accomplish with Brady. I mean, we tried taking Drew Bledsoe. You know, the guy Tom Brady replaced.
That was the right move, man. That was the right move. So makes Taylor Swift cry.
Right now we got to get past the Chiefs, right? That's the hurdle, and we got another potential GOAT in the house with Patrick Mahomes.
Super quick in 2 minutes. Tom Brady. Nobody worked harder than Tom Brady. Nobody watched more game film. And if you ever want a treat, you watch Tom Brady and Belichick looking at game film and make the comments they make back and forth to each other. It's amazing. But this is a guy who he had professional football coaches all around him, but still yet he hired more coaches. He had a nutrition coach. He had a quarterback coach of his own. He had a conditioning coach. He's had numerous coaches over the years that he employed in addition to the coaches that he had. Why? Because Tom Brady was always looking for an edge. He was relentless. And that's something that I want all of our store owners to get. You got to be hungry. You got to be relentless and never, ever stop learning. If you think you know it all and you stopped learning, now you're going backwards. Be relentless like Tom Brady. Back to the show.
Well, so to hit on that, hiring a coach, right? And this is something that I think you do pretty well, and you give a great opportunity with your Friday calls, right? Is really what some store owners don't know is what they don't know. Right. And that's the biggest difficulty, I think, in our business is there's some people, like, unfortunately, I want to say, shouldn't be in our business, right? Shouldn't be in business. They weren't. I mean, everybody thinks the mattress business is fairly easy, right? No business is easy. There's not an easy business. If you're one of the few that can get into this industry and survive stress-free, freaking call me, let me know how you did it, right? I mean, I'd love to pass on your wisdom to all the people that are going out of business. Because I talked to a lot of them. I talked to a lot of people, years before they go out of business. And I mean, I don't know if we can call ourselves cockroaches, those of us that survived the nuclear storm, right? Like, this isn't an easy industry, but there's a lot of people that want to get in it and make you think, there's these, franchise groups and everybody else that just make the mattress industry the glorious. All of these guys get such high margins, it must be great. Well, it's not. I mean, Pete, you've been here 30 years, 35,
43.
43. Oh. And you still got all your hair, most of it. It's a little thinner.
Getting a little, it's just kind of rolling up.
It's a lot grayer.
Oh yeah, a lot grayer.
My beard is like 10 times grayer than it was last year.
Chris, sometimes you know how to hurt a guy. Yeah, I know. I had more hair. It was thicker. It was darker.
I mean, the good news is, Pete, you were good looking once.
I love you, man, and I don't want your beer.
The good thing about life, right, is you only have to be good looking once. Right? If you get it right, you only have to be good looking once. And I can, 20 years of marriage, thank God I was good looking once. So
there they are.
Oh, that's the last. I'm trying to think of which game that one was. Boise State versus Portland State, I think. That was game number 1 at home this year.
Awesome.
So we got Utah State coming up tomorrow. Beat Washington State, beat Wazoo. Those damn fans were annoying. I had some Wazoo fans sitting in front of me this last weekend. I had to strike the Heisman pose. I don't know, like this jersey, right? So I don't know if any of you guys know, but he's national news, right? He's national news. Ashton Genty is going to win the Heisman, damn it. Better. If I had a vote, he would. He's leading the nation in rushing yards and touchdowns. So he's got almost 900 yards, averaging 10.3 yards per carry. Guys,
wow.
He's a phenom. I watched him literally jump from the 5-yard line last week, jump from the 5-yard line with a dude on his back. And this guy's 5'9", he's like 200 pounds, maybe 215, but he's 5'9". He's a strong kid. 5-yard line, 215, yeah. With the dude on his back, jumps into the end zone.
Wow.
Running
I haven't
full
seen
speed.
Him play, so I'm gonna have to try to
watch the highlights. This kid is crazy good. He has put in the hours, right? He has worked the fundamentals, but he is also just really God gifted, right? He's got talent. We all know those guys, right? You've got those salespeople bringing it back to the mattress industry. You've got those guys that just got that talent, right? They're special.
Yeah.
And we hope to get the people that are special on our team, right? That is the goal. And in hiring those guys, and both of us were at Scott Vaughn's Mastermind Group first one. You were at the second one too. I'm sorry I had to miss it, but traveling back east isn't my favorite thing to do. It's hard to fly out of Boise. It's so hard to get anywhere in a timely fashion.
Better to fly into Nashville though from Boise than it is to Paducah.
Well, so I did. When I went to Paducah, I flew into Nashville, rented a car, and then drove up the couple hours from Nashville. But yeah,
So
that
I
East
flew
Coast travel's tough.
I flew into Nashville, and the coolest thing is the hotel was in the airport attached.
So you didn't even leave. You just hopped a tram or what?
No, I walked out and I walked into the hotel. And I walked back into. I never. Yeah, it
Didn't even
was
have
very
to rent
cool.
a car.
I never had to rent a car. Never had to pay for a Lyft or an Uber. It was very cool. It was great. Really good.
So one of the things that they cover, right, is hiring, right?
Yeah.
And that's something I think a lot of us struggle at, really, in this industry. One, because let's be fair, there's not a lot of people knocking on our doors to sell rectangles,
Right.
that are gifted. I mean, it's one of those things. There's a lot of people that think they're special enough to get into this industry, but they want to be owners.
Right.
They don't want to be employees, right? And I learned, you know how you learn valuable lessons over years. And unfortunately, those lessons cost you lots and lots of money, right? Because I hired a guy and a fellow veteran, and I just assume you're going to be special, right? I think you got grit. I think you got that extra. And that's not always true. And unfortunately, there's some of us veterans out there that I don't know where they lost it, right? I don't know where they lost that will to fight, but there's some of them out there. But if you get an opportunity to hire a good veteran, I promise they will bust their ass. But give them a week. If they don't do it in the first week, they ain't doing it in the second week. So get rid of them quick. And that's a valuable lesson I've learned too, because I held on to one for 4 years, and I can't tell you the countless, probably tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars it cost me. So when you hire a special one, you'll know it. But the difficulty is unless you invest in them early, it gets even more difficult, right? So that training plan, when we talk about the fundamentals, and Pete talks about sales training, and there's a lot of guys that do a lot of sales training, Uncle Munkle, like, pay attention to the fundamentals, and train your staff, because you want to put your best team on the field at all times, right? And I've been fortunate the last few years. Last year I had to close a store, and that was probably the best thing that ever happened to one of my employees, right? Is because I was stretched too thin. I wasn't able to get the right training in. So he had the gift. He just didn't know how to apply it. So when I was able to close that store and able to spend more time with him and develop him and train him on how to sell properly, it's the reason why I can go to Sleep Summit next week and I won't think twice, right? I won't call my store for 4 days. And it's not that I don't love my store. It's that I trust him that much that he's going to be able to execute the game plan when I'm gone. We'll probably text though. We probably will text. He'll have questions. Like, when
So let's just dive into that a little bit real quick. So today, when you're interviewing a job applicant for a sales position, what are you looking for that maybe you weren't looking for when you first started? Like,
I'm
how
looking
is
for
it
a
different?
chip.
What?
So I'm looking for that chip on your shoulder.
So you want them to be like you?
I'm looking for somebody that has passion, right? And that's like, unfortunately, there's some things you can't teach, right? So
Yep.
there's some things like Ashton Genty, right, that just make you special. There's that thing that keeps you in the gym, working late, that nobody else has, right? Watching game film like Tom Brady, right?
Yep.
Like, that's not a physical gift, right? That's not a physical gift. So you have to have passion for what you do. You know, the guys that I admire, you know, in this industry, they have passion for it, right? You say it in your, you know, in your intro, right? Sales is a transfer of feeling, right? But I actually think sales is a transfer of freaking passion, right? What you're doing for your, like,
Yep.
I had to work Sunday a couple weeks ago, and I normally don't work Sundays. It's my day with my, really the only day of the week I get with my whole family, and get to go to church. But I had to work Sunday because we made an error and had to make a delivery. But man, I came in and I struck out, right? I went 0 for 4. And then I started thinking, like, what the hell happened to me? You better pet that cat, Pete.
That's Sumo. Sumo wants attention right now, but
Get on stage, Sumo. You got to get your
not,
own camera,
he's
cat.
not getting it. You're okay, honey.
That's funny.
You're okay.
But, you know, I came in and so I was on Tuesday. So I was off on Monday. On Tuesday, I was on my way to work. And I was like, what the hell did I do on Sunday? Like, what the hell did I do? And it hit me, man. I did not want to be there. And that came across to every customer that walked in the door.
So you had the same attitude as Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, except for Wednesday, I really did. Like, I wanted to sell something Wednesday, and I did. I didn't want to, like, Sunday, I was kind of in contempt, right? Like, why the hell am I working on a Sunday, right? Like, it's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I wanted to be there. At least Wednesday, I wanted to be here. I just didn't want to see anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
It,
Anything else you're looking for in the interview?
So the chip, and I mean, communication, right? I mean, the ability to communicate clearly and effectively. That's the most important thing that we do.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be like, I mean, as much as we would like to think great salespeople have a stutter, most of them don't, right? Like, most people don't stutter when they sell. So, and then we're looking for, you know, some experience. And I won't say experience is that important, because I think Scott Vaughn is doing a phenomenal job with a young crew, right? Like, he's doing a great job. And sometimes that's because you don't have to correct past mistakes.
Right.
So that's, find out the type of person you really want and that you think will be a fit for you and your group and your culture, and really build towards that culture, right? I mean, so I want somebody that's passionate, but I want somebody that's going to be compassionate too, right? So I think empathy is a huge part of sales. And so I want our staff, anybody I hire, to be able to listen as well as they can talk, because customers reveal things to you. Of course, my computer is going to do this again.
It's okay. I can hear you. Fit, empathy, listen,
right? I want somebody that's going to be empathetic, fit into our culture, and really be able to listen. And that's really it, and be trainable, right? I mean, find somebody, you know, you always have those kids when you're coaching sports, right? That are like, they give out the award at the end of the year, most coachable kid, most, you know, it's like the award you give.
That's the word right there, Steve. Coachable.
Coachable.
Are you coachable? Are you coachable? Are you coachable at 20? Are you coachable at 60? I don't want anyone who's not coachable at any age.
I was talking to a rep earlier this week, and we talk about, using our time wisely, right? Because I'm pretty stretched thin. And I have a lot of people that I talk to, on a regular basis. And there's some people I just have had to cut out, right? I don't have time for you. And the quickest way to get out of my loop and not get me to help you is not to be coachable, right? Like, I'm not here to be an echo chamber to Steve. Like, I know what makes Steve work, right? I know what makes Boise Mattress successful. Like, I mean, we've built it from a franchise scam to, over $1 million business, right? Like, we do just fine. I don't need to spend time with some people. And that's the difficulty in sometimes just telling people no. But if you're not coachable, I'm not, it's one reason why I really like Joe and why I've spent time with Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I rep for him, right? But he's not my best customer, right? I'm not making tons of money off of making Joe money. I am making some, but trust me, if I were to be a consultant for Joe, or if you were to be a consultant for half the people you talk to, you would be charging a lot more, right? Your expertise is worth a lot more than sometimes we get. But if you're not coachable, you don't get it. You don't get it for free.
Yep. So the people that we hire need to be coachable. And if you're a store owner and you have come to the conclusion that I don't know everything I should know, and I hope every one of us comes to that conclusion, no matter how successful you are, then the next step in that is opening your mind and being vulnerable enough to say, can you explain that to me? I don't quite get that. Like, what is it that you're doing there? Or how do you do that? I think the one thing about Joe is he is comfortable being vulnerable and being open, and it just makes you want to pour out into him, right? And anybody who's vulnerable and open, to me, I'm going to pour into him, and I know you're the same way, Steve. So, is there anything else that you look for, or is it's really a chip on the shoulder, passion, fit, empathy, listen, be coachable?
That's
Anything
it, man.
else? That's it.
I think if you can nail that, I mean, skills are teachable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the benefit of, like, sales. I mean, if you have a process, I mean, you can teach everything else, right?
Yeah.
You can't teach somebody desire, right?
Yeah.
Like, the desire to do better, you can't teach that, right? That's something you feel. You either feel that deep down and you want to be better, or you don't.
Steve, do you know what time it is?
Oh, is it time to read a chapter of your book, Pete?
No.
Oh, is it the fourth quarter?
It's the fourth quarter of the fourth quarter show.
I miss reading a chapter of your book, Pete.
We don't have time unless you really want to. If there's something in there that near and dear to your heart, you're welcome to it. But
no. So you know what else? Since we're going to fast forward to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We got to hit the 2-minute warning, Pete. What happens at the 2-minute warning?
Give you a little bit of time to regroup and get yourselves together.
We're firing, right? So you don't really have, you're at the line. So we reach the 2-minute warning. We're playing from the line. So now you have to be smart. You have to audible and adapt on the go. You have to go. So we've worked on the fundamentals. Now we're putting it in the hands of the players, and we're hoping that they can make the right calls, right? Because the coaches don't call the plays at the line. So we are in that 2-minute warning time zone. So we are trying to win the game, or we're trying to ice it, right? So we're either going, or we're trying to kill them so we can get the ball back. So the next part, since I guess we're 2-minute warning, I think something we miss when we score. What comes after a touchdown?
Extra point.
Extra points, right? Extra points. And the PAT used to be free, right? I mean, they made it more complicated in the NFL, but it used to be a gimme. It's
Yeah.
not always a gimme, right? But how do we get extra points in the mattress industry?
If you just scored, you're completing your sale. That's when you're starting to ask for the you're starting to ask for the testimonial and all that. A lot of people wait till after delivery. I think you start at the point as soon as you conclude the sale. I used to always ask them, Steve, if I always used to find out what brought you in today, and that goes back to the advertising piece so that I can keep an eye on the advertising piece. But I used to ask, why did you buy? I already got their money. The sale's complete. I've got it. It's in my hand. Do you mind if I ask you why you bought today? And usually they'll tell you. And that gives me a lot of clues of what's going to work next with the next customer. But you have something on your little chart there. So tell me what you got.
So I only have an outline. I could never actually speak from points, right? So it's one of those things like I'm not the guy to memorize a speech. I prefer to Donald Trump it and just wing it, right? We have the outline and I know how I feel about each point. So
sure.
I'm with you. So we ask for the reviews, right? That's after you complete the sale. But how do we score extra points, right? So scoring extra means we're making additional. We got to make that. We got to make that money, right? We got to be Johnny Man. Like we got to make that money. So Mr. Money, welcome to college football. So we got to get those accessories.
That's
right?
part of the sale, dude. That's part of the sale.
It's part of it.
I knew where you were going. I'm like, no. There's a dude.
So I'm telling you what happens on the sales floor.
Listen, Pete. There's a reason we call them sleep essentials because they're part of the sale, and we already got them. But if we didn't get them, let's go for it.
So the difficulty in execution, right? So you're a top of bed sales guy.
I am.
Right. So, and we get this from a lot of reps. So the store owners will feel me. Some of them will disagree with me, and I don't care. It's an area where I struggle in. So I'm going to be honest. It's not my best sales point. Mostly I'll blame the vendors for not putting together good programs for the most part. And I think the top of bed is the biggest area for growth in our industry. I'm with Chris Dehaney on that. I think we can all grow our top of bed. But I also think, there's a lot more manufacturers that need to step up to the plate and be better at their jobs so that it makes our jobs easier. And I'd be glad to give you all sorts of pointers. And I would start with, I don't want to insult any one manufacturer, but shipping times, convenience, inventory. We've all had all those issues, right? And you've been in the top of bed game for freaking 40 years and you've seen it all. You've seen these guys come and go. And our biggest problem with top of bed, and I didn't want to divert from how to score extra points, but since you said it's part of the sale being the top of the bed guy, I'm going to tell you why it's an extra
actually
point.
both. It's both because,
right.
Well, Steve, I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad we're having this discussion because the way things should be and the way things are in real life are two different things. For some dealers, Scott Vaughn's guys, they've got a bunch of beds with all-in pricing, and it's just a matter of picking the stuff out.
Oh, you just gave away the secret to Scott's masterclass.
And they've got different bundles that they can pick too with other lines, and it depends on what line they end up with. But we need to be able to do both.
I'll tell you why I'm so successful with selling adjustable bases. Our attachment rate's great, and we do really well. And I can tell you the biggest reason why is because I partner with a great manufacturer for the most part with bed tech, right? I don't have issues. I don't have issues with supply,
I love bed tech.
right? So that's my part of our sales process definitely includes adjustable bases all the time. 100% of the time we included an adjustable base presentation. But sheets and all of that, I mean mattress protectors become a default. Sheets become a default, and it's and pillows. That's another issue. It just becomes the extra point, but it's important, right? It's an extremely important way to grow your ticket. It's
Extra
huge.
points are often the margin in business and in football games where you win or lose the game.
I mean, those are profit dollars, right? I mean, that's
100% profit dollars. The acquisition cost of the customer is already, that's done. Now it's just how much.
Yeah. So find a way to capitalize on your extra points, right? Whether you're kicking a PAT and you take it easy, right? Like I'm saying, where you just take that easy add-on with the freaking mattress protector. You say, oh, by the way, like our sleep trial doesn't mean anything if you don't buy this mattress protector, right? Or you do an in-depth presentation of sheets and pillows, and I'm like, I would double down on, I believe it's part of the sales process, but then I had this presentation from this pillow manufacturer, and I won't mention who they are, and their pillow presentation is like 20 minutes, right? Well, how many damn hours do you want to spend with a customer? Like, because the reality is nobody wants to be mattress shopping, right? So your job is to set the customer at ease and move through the sales process and not spend a damn hour trying to pick out the right pillow. So it's one of those, you'll find your process. If you don't have one, find one. If you need one, call Pete. Don't call me because mine's not that good. And I'm not going to pretend to be the accessory salesperson. Now, adjustable bases, I can teach anybody to sell an adjustable base. It's a must in our industry. I'm a firm believer. If you're not sleeping on an adjustable base, you need to be. If your salespeople aren't sleeping on an adjustable base, you need to give them a discount and get them one, because they need to be believers. And that's how you sell more. And if you're not if you're a top of bed company and you're not giving out, samples to salespeople, shame on you, because that will help you. I mean, I can still tell you I sleep on the freaking protective edge sheets that Chris Tahaney sent me years ago, right?
And Chris, thank you for that, because he bought a lot of those sheets from me.
Yeah. I mean, so they're still my favorite sheet. They aren't guaranteed to stay on, though, I can tell you.
No, they do not stay on. They're slippery as all get out.
But
they are slippery.
They feel phenomenal, right?
They do.
They feel phenomenal. So I love those sheets. But if you want to win sales and accessories as a manufacturer, I think that's a key, right? Make sure the salespeople are sleeping on it. If you're a store owner and you want to improve something, make sure your employees are sleeping on it, and then go back to your manufacturers and ask for the damn discount.
Yeah. And make it easy on your salespeople. Every bed that can have an adjustable bed under it should. And sometimes you need to, have a discussion with a supplier about getting discounts for all of the beds that are on the floor. And that should not be a problem, because anybody that's smart enough to be in the adjustable bed business should be smart enough to know where we have the most success is where we have them under every bed. So it's easy for a salesperson to sell. Years and years ago, we'd have one or two or three on the floor, and then we were moving mattresses. It was a holy mess. Don't do that. Just get an adjustable bed. And listen, when you start, you can't do it. You don't have the money. So you start off with one or two, and you just keep reinvesting. You just one at a time.
Smaller store owners, right? Smaller store owners that are looking to increase your average ticket, call your adjustable base manufacturer and demand floor model discounts, right? Demand it. They might not give it to you. They might give you something, right? But I tell you, you will improve your attachment rate tenfold if you put them under at least under your, 5 most popular beds. We already know everybody's got a handful of beds that they sell well anyway, right?
Sure.
I have 50 beds on my floor, but I sell probably 6, 7 on a consistent basis, right? Like it's that narrow. So you just have your go-tos, and you know what customers are coming for, and it tends to be one of those things. So call
Steve,
those adjustable base manufacturers.
great advice. Great show, Steve. Somebody wants to get a hold of you. How do they do that?
Don't. I don't have time, Pete. No. You
LinkedIn?
can email me at steve@moreseas.com.
Okay.
Or hit me on Facebook, because that's where, if you're part of our group, the Mattress Industry Network, it is probably the best way to get in touch with me other than email. Email is a little slower because I don't sit at a computer most days. It's not my favorite thing to do. I got out of the financial services industry, because I hate email. So it's not my favorite. So Facebook, email me. Love to help as many people as I can. Of course, time is very limited for me anymore.
Yep. Steve, thank you so much. Let's go out there, guys, and win the
So
fourth
no
quarter.
miss-sell yet. Deals on the floor, firm, plush, and right. Stacking up wins, every bet needs a home tonight. Game plan tight, we're sealing the deal. Luxury dreams, making sales feel real. Defense strong, competitors behind. Prime time hustle, our profits aligned. Snap count, cash flow coming in hot. No fumble here, every sale hits the spot.